What's up, YouTube? Alright, welcome back for those of you who've been following me. If you haven't and you're new here, please subscribe. I got a bunch of 240 LS swap content and I got a bunch more coming. Today we're going to work on getting the headers in. I got to redo the drive shaft and I changed the transmission oil. Alright, well, we're working on the fuel lines, and of course the filter has a bracket here. Take that bracket off, and then there's a lower bracket that holds it on down near the frame rail, and that are these. Take these off, and then my plan is, as you can see, the fuel lines will be really close. I'm going to try to bend these more over here and get them up closer to this, and then run the C5 fuel pressure regulator filter thing right here, kind of in the stock position, but up over a little bit higher. So I'm going to try to bend these, not kink them and not break them. So this will be interesting. Alright, so kind of holding the header in place, you can see I was able to bend the fuel rails away and kind of up here. And so this might end up working. The return line, this first one right here, I might need to bend a little bit more. But that looks like it's going to work. Alright, the Sikky headers that also came with some exhaust manifold gaskets and some new bolts. These bolts are what, the M8 1.25 by 20. There's 12, so 6 on either side, obviously. And this is doesn't look like a metal exhaust manifold gasket, just looks, you know, paper, and there is no, you know, exhaust manifold out or this way forward or anything like this, but there is this lettering, and of course you have in the center it angles up, and if you look on the actual head you can see if I can get a good angle of it, you could see the bolts right there angle up, and obviously, you know, angled up goes there. If you try to put it on that way, it'd be angled down. That doesn't work. So fairly brainless. But I'm going to take these, and I'm also going to put on I bought some copper gasket spray. I'm going to load it up with this and then get on the passenger and the driver's side headers. For the copper spray, you just need a light coat. Get it on the other side. See if you can see that copper. All right. Once you got them screwed on there, take your 6mm hex, and the specifications should be 18 foot-pounds, and you'll want to start in the center and you work your way out. I'm not sure if my torque wrench is going to be able to reach all of them, but we'll see. Eighteen. There are these pipes. It's getting pretty close. I can't get to that one, so I'll just use a regular wrench and torque it down to what I think is 18. right. For that last one, grab a regular wrench. And that's good. That's passenger side. Now let's get the driver's side. So I got both headers bolted down, torqued to 18 foot-pounds. Now to get this back, I need to do the steering column. It's really hard to see in there, but I need to get the steering column back onto the steering rack. And to do that, you'll have the short side going to the steering rack, and then the longer side going to the column. They're 12 millimeter bolts, and they're the same, so you could use either one. All right, well, let me get those on. The next thing we're going to work on is putting back this coupler on the steering rack. You put this on the steering column. This is the long side, and then the short side you put back on the rack. So you slide it up and then move it over and then put it back on. We'll use our markings, obviously, to get it fitted on there. It's pretty dark and pretty tight, so I'll just show you after I get it done. A word of advice: your headers, loosen those up a little bit. That way you can move around the steering column. And this, where the screwdriver is, loosen those up. And be patient, because it took me about 25 minutes to finally get these in. I don't know how. I mean, mine were, this side was a little bit rough at first, and getting the angle, the steering angle would be like here, but the knuckle would be more straight down, so I had to make that a lot wider. So be patient and do that. Loosen up your header, it'll really help. And check to make sure, that your wheel is mostly straight. All right, so get your two 12 millimeter bolts that came with it, that you took off, the stock ones, and they could go on either side, and just get those in there. All right, I'll do that. You don't need to see that. All right, well, because I had an idiot moment and got too excited about getting the engine in, I never changed the trans fluid. So the difference between T56 and the KA trans is about the fill plugs right here, the drain plugs over here, and they use a 3/8 instead of a half. So I'm gonna make sure I could get the fill open before I drain it, and then yeah, let's get some new transmission fluid in. Easy enough once you get it all drained out without spilling a drop. I'm gonna go put this in my recycle container, and we'll finish taking off the fill cap, and let's put up some more transmission fluid. And transmission fluid would be done, then we can work on, we need to get the remote oil cooler, or remote oil filter, in. All right, after talking to some people, I found out that that rubber that's right, what is that? Right here actually needs to be cut off with a razor. So I'm gonna have to drop the drive shafts. So try not to make that mistake. Cut that rubber off before you put your drive shaft up. As this is it's just a dust shield. Huh? I'm videoing. Alright, as this is a dust shield, you could just trim it with a razor and cut it off. There you go. I'm gonna get a shop towel and clean up the edge and then put the drive shaft back in. Okay, one thing I want to note is the fuel, the way I got the fuel lines railed up. That's a temporary system. I'm gonna run it for a little while, have it like that. But I plan to cut down the hard lines down closer to the frame rail and then run some soft line up and have a little more custom look with that. Also, those paper exhaust manifold gaskets, crap. Get rid of them right away. I've already had it blow out 3 times, and I mean, just save yourself. Get the 3-layer, 6-layer, whatever they are, the metal head, the metal exhaust manifold gaskets, and just do yourself that favor. All right, that's all I got for today. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.